My ex-husband's new wife stole my seat at my son's graduation. His mom can watch from the back, she said. She laughed. My ex did nothing. After 18 years of double shifts raising the valedictorian, I stood by the exit. When my son took the podium, he didn't smile. He folded his speech, pointed at his stepmom, and said one thing that made her go pale. The usher, maybe 20, clip-on bow tie, couldn't meet my eyes. Ma'am, I'm sorry. Those seats up front are taken now. You'll need to stand back here. I was holding the program with both hands so they wouldn't shake. I could see row B from the back wall, 2 empty chairs, where my son had set down our placards that morning at 8:47, hugging me in the parking lot and whispering, Mom, I saved you the best seat. The cards were gone now. One lay torn in half on the floor under row A, Jessica Miller, in my son's careful blue Sharpie, ripped down the middle like a receipt. Those were my seats, I whispered. My son reserved them. The usher actually flinched. The lady up front in the blue dress. She said there was a mix-up. Said her name was on the list. I looked. Vanessa. My ex-husband Marcus's new wife, 28 years old, sitting dead center in row B in a cobalt blue dress that I happen to know cost $1,890 because my son had shown me her Instagram once with the kind of expression a teenage boy gets when he doesn't know how to tell his mom something painful. She turned her head slowly, like she could feel me watching. She found me at the back wall and smiled, small, private, just for me. The kind of smile that says, I know exactly what I just did, and there is nothing on earth you can do about it. Then she lifted her phone, tilted it 45 degrees, pretending to take a selfie. But I knew she was filming me, standing under the red exit sign where I belonged. My name is Jessica Miller. I am 44 years old. For 18 years, I worked 2 jobs so my son Ethan could sit in a front row somewhere that mattered. I want to tell you about those 18 years before I tell you what happened next, because if you don't understand them, you'll think I was weak for not walking out the moment she did that. I wasn't weak. I was strategic. Strategic just looks like weak from the outside, and that's exactly what they counted on. Marcus and I married when I was 25. Ethan was born when I was 26. Marcus was a junior loan officer back then, making $52,000 a year and chasing every shiny thing that promised to make him more. When Ethan was 6, Marcus came home one Tuesday in March and told me he'd outgrown me. That was the word he used, outgrown, like I was a sweater. He'd met a paralegal at his firm. He was filing for divorce. He needed the house. Could I find somewhere else to live? I'll never forget Ethan's face that night, holding his Spider-Man pajamas, trying to understand why Mommy was crying into a dish towel on the kitchen floor. I picked him up, told him we were going on an adventure. We slept at my sister Brianna's apartment for 2 months, then found a 1-bedroom above a Vietnamese restaurant. Rent was $725. The heat was unreliable. The bathroom door didn't quite close. Ethan had his own bed. I slept on the pull-out couch. We ate a lot of rice, and somehow it never felt like enough was missing because he never once asked where the rest of his childhood had gone. Marcus's child support was never what the court ordered. Always a bad quarter, a new car payment, a cash flow issue. When I tried to take him back to court, his second wife, Denise, who lasted 3 years, flooded the family court clerk with paperwork until the judge got tired of all of us and told us to figure it out ourselves. So, I figured it out. 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. cleaning exam rooms at the Henderson Family Medicine Clinic, 6 days a week. Then home, after school pickup, dinner, homework, bed, and from 9 p.m. to 2 or 3 a.m., alterations for a tailor named Mr. Pham, who ran the dry cleaner 2 blocks down. $4 for a hem, $7 for a zipper, $20 for a full suit. On a great week, $250. I didn't take a real vacation in 12 years. I went to one wedding, my sister's, and sewed the bridesmaid dresses myself. Ethan never went without anything that mattered. He went without things that didn't. No North Face jacket, no Air Jordans, just clean clothes I'd altered to fit, library books, and a mother who showed up. He was reading at a 6th grade level in 2nd grade, doing pre-algebra in 4th. Dr. Linda Park, his pediatrician, 22 years in practice, told me when he was 9, Jessica, Your son is gifted. Don't let the public school sit on him. So I didn't. I drove him 40 minutes each way to a magnet school, to a STEM program at the community college, to robotics meets in church basements, to a state math competition in a borrowed Toyota that overheated twice on the highway. Marcus came to 2 events in 12 years. The 6th grade science fair, where he photographed Ethan holding the trophy, posted it with a caption, "So proud of my boy," collected 147 likes, and left before the closing remarks. He brought Denise to Ethan's 8th grade graduation. They left after the photos. He brought Vanessa to last month's senior awards banquet, where she argued with Ethan's calculus teacher about sitting at our reserved 5-person family table. She wasn't on the list. We were exactly 5. That's Marcus, a father in photographs, a man who came for the applause and missed everything underneath it. He missed the 103-degree fevers. He missed the 2 a.m. AP calculus tears. He missed the night Ethan came home with a black eye because a kid had called him welfare boy in the hallway, and Ethan, 5 feet 4 inches at the time, had swung first. I didn't miss any of it. Not one piece. That's why I was standing under that exit sign instead of letting Brianna drag Vanessa out of the auditorium by her cobalt blue dress. If I gave them 1 second of a scene to film, 18 years of being the steady one would be erased in 15 seconds of YouTube. I had not survived 18 years to become the punchline of Vanessa's Instagram story. So I stood under the red light, and I breathed, and I waited. Here's the thing about Vanessa. She didn't just show up and steal a seat. The seat was the last move in a much longer game I'd been watching for 2 years. Marcus married her at a $90,000 Napa wedding Ethan wasn't invited to. Marcus called it adults only, though 3 other teenagers reportedly made the guest list. Vanessa posted 72 honeymoon photos from Italy. I know because Brianna counted. She's a former model, 2 department store catalogs, and a regional car commercial turned content creator, 84,000 followers, a TikTok built around being a stepmom to a teenager. She'd posted about Ethan without his consent more than once. The first time, about a year ago, was a photo of him in soft focus doing homework at her kitchen island, captioned, "Bonus mom life." He doesn't say much, but I see him. Ethan had said nothing to her that entire weekend except, "Please pass the salt," and "Thanks for dinner." I told him to ask her to take it down. She refused, then posted a follow-up about the challenges of blending families when biological mothers have boundaries, and landed a tea company brand deal off the engagement. I called Janet Morales, the attorney who'd handled my divorce. 58, 26 years on the family bar, reading glasses on a chain, calls everyone honey. "Jessica," she said. "Honey." Ethan, 17. A minor over 14 has standing to request a cease and desist for unauthorized commercial use of his image. Have him write her a letter. Have him CC me. Ethan did. Vanessa deleted the posts. She never forgave me for it. After that, the small sabotage started. My text to Ethan mysteriously stopped delivering whenever he was at Marcus's. Vanessa had blocked me from their Wi-Fi. School events I was told had been rescheduled hadn't been. A Mother's Day card arrived 2 weeks late, postmarked from a town 300 miles away. Vanessa had accidentally packed it for a business trip. A $400 tuition deposit for Ethan's summer program, which Marcus had agreed to cover, sat unmailed until I drove to their house at 9 p.m. with Brianna as a witness to collect the check in person. And once, smaller than the rest, but somehow the one that stung the most, Ethan's invitation to his own father's 4th of July barbecue got lost the year Vanessa decided the guest list needed trimming. He found out about it from a classmate's Instagram story. Janet kept a running file. She called it the Vanessa folder. By graduation, it was 81 pages. The morning of graduation, I woke at 5:30, having barely slept. I'd ironed my navy dress the night before, a Macy's outlet find for $89, altered to fit myself, and polished my 1 pair of black pumps. Ethan was already up, in his cap and gown, eating cereal, eyes on his laptop. "Mom," he said without looking up, "I need you at the school at 8:30. Don't be late." "I'm never late." "I know, but today don't be late." He looked up then, and something in his eyes, Marcus's eyes, but kinder, always kinder, held a weight I couldn't read. I love you, he said. I love you for everything. I know what you did. I sat down at the table, caught off guard. Ethan, don't cry, Mom. Not yet. Today's going to be a good day. I drove him to school at 8:15. He hugged me in the parking lot. Front row, second from the aisle. I saved it for you and Aunt Brianna. He pointed at his cap, something written on top in white paint marker I couldn't read from below. What's it say? You'll see. I drove home, picked up Brianna, came back at 9:45. By the time we reached the auditorium doors, something already felt wrong. Brianna, a kindergarten teacher for 15 years before she became an assistant principal, with a radar for trouble, gripped my arm. Jessica, why is Marcus's Range Rover in the handicap spot? And why is Vanessa filming us through the windshield?
She was.
Lens pointed straight at us as we crossed the lot. I waved. She didn't wave back. Inside, the auditorium held 600 people for a graduating class of 218. Row B, seats 4 and 5, our seats, held Marcus and Vanessa instead. New cards read Marcus Miller, Vanessa Miller. There was a mix-up, Marcus said, not meeting my eyes. Vanessa talked to the school. Vanessa, still scrolling her phone. His dad can watch from the back. She should be used to it by now. She laughed, light, musical, the laugh of a woman who has never once been told no. Brianna's hand closed around my arm like a vice. Let me drag her out by her hair. I'll take whatever consequence. Not today. Don't ruin this for Ethan. The usher walked me back to the red exit sign. Vanessa winked. That's the part one want you to remember. I didn't know Ethan was valedictorian until the principal said his name. My knees buckled. Brianna caught me. The room erupted, 600 people on their feet. Marcus stood first, clapping loud, chest puffed out like a man receiving a personal honor, while Vanessa recorded for her followers, camera angled carefully away from the back wall, away from me. Ethan walked up, looked past 600 people straight to me, and his eyes went cold. He picked up his speech, folded it twice, slipped it into his gown. I had a speech prepared, he said into the mic. I'm not giving that speech. The room didn't breathe. This morning, somebody in this auditorium did something I will not forgive. He pointed, not at the back, but straight at Vanessa. Phones lifted everywhere, all at once. You sit in that seat and think my dad's money makes you untouchable. Vanessa grabbed Marcus's arm, knuckles white. Do something, she hissed. Marcus didn't move. Couldn't move. I had been married to him for 9 years and known him for 20, and I had never once seen him look like a man watching his own funeral. Ethan pulled out the tour name card. I have the security footage. I have the texts. I have the receipts. He'd spent 6 weeks quietly preparing after Janet warned him Vanessa was escalating. That morning, after setting the placards, he doubled back to watch the school's security feed himself. Footage that showed Vanessa entering alone at 8:52, tearing both our cards in half, setting down pre-printed replacements, taking a selfie with the chairs, and walking out. Worse was the usher, a classmate from Ethan's AP Stats class, who texted him that morning, amused, about the $500 Vanessa had Venmo'd him to handle the seating situation, especially regarding the ex-wife. Ethan had the screenshots, the receipt, and a message time-stamped 7:11 a.m. Make sure she stays in the back. I want her humiliated. He didn't read it all aloud. He didn't need to. My mother worked 2 jobs for 18 years to send me to the school. She cleaned exam rooms at 5 a.m. and sewed dresses until 3 a.m. She didn't miss one parent-teacher conference in 12 years. I'm valedictorian because of her. He pointed to me. 600 people turned around. 2 hours ago, my father's wife paid an usher $500 to humiliate my mother in front of this ceremony. It's all going to my attorney within the hour, along with 2 years of everything else my mother's lawyer has been collecting. Vanessa bolted for the aisle. The school resource officer stepped smoothly into her path, saying nothing, needing to say nothing. Marcus turned and looked at me for 1 full second, 18 years compressed into 1 second, his face the face of a man watching the story he'd told himself about who he was collapse in front of 600 witnesses. Ethan finished. Dad, I love you. I always will. But you have not been a father to me. You've been a face in photographs. My mother raised me. He took off his cap. Written across the top, in his careful block letters. Thank you, Mom. Row 2 or row 22. You're always front row to me. The auditorium broke into the loudest sound I have ever heard in my life. I didn't cry. I just stood under that red light watching my son thinking, we did it. He's okay. The aftermath came fast. The unedited live stream hit 11,000 downloads in the first hour, for 0.2 million views by morning, 38 million by week's end. Vanessa's account, 84,000 followers, was deleted by Instagram itself after every brand partner publicly walked away. A national morning show asked Ethan for an interview. He declined. A local reporter asked me for a comment. My son said everything I needed him to say. I told her. She used it as her closing line. Marcus filed for divorce from Vanessa 7 weeks later. Janet's forensic accountant found Vanessa had quietly siphoned $140,300 from their joint account over 18 months, spent on a $42,000 Cartier bracelet and wellness retreats that turned out to be weekends in Miami with a personal trainer named Caleb. Marcus, a financial advisor, hadn't noticed a cent of it. The prenup he'd insisted on, over Vanessa's loud objections, held perfectly. She got nothing and moved out that August.
I don't know where she is now.
I don't care. The usher was quietly removed from his role, his college notified. He later wrote Ethan a 4-page handwritten apology, which Ethan accepted. 3 months after graduation, I drove Ethan to MIT myself in a 2014 Honda Accord with 156,000 miles on it. I helped him unpack, met his roommate, and cried alone in a Dunkin' Donuts parking lot for 20 minutes on the drive home. He calls every Sunday at 7. Sometimes Brianna's over, and the 3 of us eat dinner together over speakerphone, the way we used to above the Vietnamese restaurant when the heat was unreliable. I still work at the Henderson Clinic, though I quit the night sewing about a year ago. Dr. Park told me I looked younger. Told me my shoulders had come down. I hadn't realized they'd ever been up. I think about Vanessa sometimes, less than I used to, about the second she winked at me, certain she'd won. I think about Marcus, who I'll see twice a year for the rest of my life, pretending none of it happened. But mostly I think about my son. About the moment his cold eyes found mine from the podium, and I understood, with a jolt I'll feel until I die, that the quiet little boy I'd carried up the stairs of an apartment above a Vietnamese restaurant had grown into a young man who could level a room of 600 people with a folded piece of paper. On the drive to MIT, 3 hours in, he finally told me the rest. The usher had texted him about Vanessa's offer that morning, thinking it was funny. I told him to take the money, Ethan said. Do exactly what she asked, then forward me everything. The Venmo, all of it. She was going to do it anyway, Mom. I just made sure it was on tape. I had to pull over. I sat at a rest stop for a full minute, staring at the wheel. Then I looked at my son, 18 years old, on his way to MIT, and started laughing. Not because it was funny, because I realized the boy I'd raised on rice and library books and 2 a.m. calculus had never needed me to protect him, not really. He'd been listening the whole time. When the moment came, he hadn't panicked. He'd set the trap, baited it himself, and waited for her to walk in. I pulled back onto the highway. Ethan, I love you. I love you so much. I know, Mom. Then, quietly, looking out at the trees, row 22 was always good enough. They just didn't know.